Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin with a story, a parable Dan Heath opens with in his book Upstream. Two friends are having a picnic by the river when suddenly they hear a child crying out for help, drifting downstream. They jump in and rescue the child. Moments later, another child appears, then another, and another. The friends are frantic, pulling child after child from the water. Finally, one friend starts to walk away. "Where are you going?" the other shouts. "I'm going upstream," the friend says, "to stop whoever's throwing them in." Now, friends, let me ask you, how many times in life do we spend all our energy rescuing the symptom and never once stop to ask, what's causing this? That's the core message of Upstream. It's not just about solving problems, it's about solving problems before they even begin. And if you want a life of peace, progress, and purpose, you must learn to think upstream. Lesson 1. We live in a downstream society. Our world is reactive. We treat illness after it appears. We fix customer complaints after they erupt. We handle crises after the damage is done. Dan Heath says it plainly. We put out fires instead of preventing them. But here's the problem. If all your time is spent fighting fires, you'll never get around to building the house. You see, downstream thinking is costly. It burns out your time, your money, your team, your energy. Upstream thinking, on the other hand, is where wisdom lives. It's where vision is born. It's where you protect the life you want before it slips away. Lesson 2. The 3 barriers to upstream thinking. Dan Heath identifies 3 major barriers to upstream thinking. And let me tell you, these are worth writing down. First, problem blindness. This is when people don't see a problem, even when it's right in front of them. They say things like, "That's just how it is," or "We've always done it that way." But remember this, every great breakthrough began with someone who refused to accept how it is. Jim Rohn used to say, "Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better." But I'll add to that, don't just wish for better, look for the source of the trouble. That's upstream thinking. You can't fix what you're blind to. So start asking, is this pain necessary, or is it just normalized? 2. Lack of ownership. The second barrier is what I call pass the buck syndrome. Everyone assumes someone else will fix it. But listen to me. The moment you say, "It's not my problem," you forfeit your power. Dan Heath says, if you want to fix a problem, you have to own it, even if you didn't cause it. So whether it's your family, your health, your finances, your company, be the person who says, if not me, then who? 3. Tunneling. This is the big one. It's when you're too busy surviving today to think about tomorrow. You're overwhelmed, you're buried in the urgent, you're stuck in the grind. But let me remind you of something. You can't build a future if all you do is maintain the present. Dan calls this tunneling. Jim Rohn called it majoring in minors. Either way, it will rob your potential. Here's the cure. Step back, breathe. Ask yourself, what am I solving that I could be preventing? Lesson 3. Move from reaction to prevention. Now let's go practical. How do we live upstream? Dan Heath outlines powerful tools. Let's break down 3 of them. First unit of 1. Big change starts small. You don't have to solve the whole system. Start with one case, one customer, one child, one problem. Don't wait for a giant program. Do the next right thing for the next person in front of you. Because momentum begins with movement. And once you've solved one, you've got a blueprint. Second, data that points forward. Most people use data like a rear-view mirror, but upstream thinkers use it like headlights. They don't just ask, what went wrong? They ask, what can this data tell me about what's coming? So don't just track your past, anticipate your future. If your bank account's always drained by mid-month, that's a signal. If your team always misses deadlines at the same point, that's a pattern. As Dan says, prediction is the first step toward prevention. 3. Identify leverage points. This one's big. Upstream thinkers look for the one point in the system where a small shift creates big change. That's called leverage. In your business, it might be the onboarding process. In your health, it might be your sleep routine. In your relationships, it might be communication. Jim Rohn said, "Success is a few simple disciplines, practiced every day." I'll add, upstream success is finding the few critical disciplines and getting ahead of the curve. Quotes to live by. Let's fuel this fire with a few quotes from the book that I believe deserve to be carved into stone. Every system is perfectly designed to get the results it gets. If your life is producing stress, disorder, chaos, it's not fate, it's design. You don't need to wish, you need to redesign. When you prevent a problem, nothing happens. And that's the challenge of upstream work. It's invisible. That's right. Prevention doesn't come with applause, but it does come with peace. And peace is a prize worth more than recognition. Reacting to problems is easier, but preventing them is more noble. Take the noble path, the strategic path, the path that requires vision. Final message, be the person who looks upstream. Friends, here's the truth. Downstream living is exhausting. It's busy. It's urgent. But upstream living? That's where the leaders go. That's where the legacy is built. Don't wait for the storm to hit to fix the roof. Don't wait for the health scare to change your habits. Don't wait for the crisis to build your system. Go upstream. If your business is constantly losing customers, go upstream. If your time keeps slipping away, go upstream. If your confidence is shrinking, your dreams delayed, your life scattered, go upstream. Don't just react, redesign. Don't just fix, foresee. Don't just cope, conquer. The future belongs to those who solve problems before they arrive. So let's get going, my friends. Upstream is calling.